Hi everyone. So this will be a quick video on Elasticsearch nodes, shards, replicas and cluster. So I will quickly explain what are these. So basically we have nodes, and nodes you can think of as servers, machines, computers, boxes that you have. Second comes shards. Shards are basically your partitions, fragments, chunk, piece, part, portion. So this is how you distribute your data. So let's say you have 100 students in one shard, so all 100 students data will go in one shard. And if you have two shards, there will be 50 students in each shards. And if let's say you have 100 students but 3 shards, so it will be something like 34, 33, 33. So this is how we evenly distribute the data. And third one is replicas, as the name suggests, which they are the copies and copies, or we can say duplicate of the data. And last is like cluster. Cluster is basically all of it all together. So cluster consists of nodes, and data has got shards, and that shards have their own replicas or the copies. So moving on. So I'll explain it via like a simple example. Let's say usually when we have a development machine, we have a single node cluster. So we have one node, and let's say when we have one node, we have one shard. So one shard for every index. When I'm saying, it's like an index, as you would have known, like it's like a table within Elasticsearch. So let's say you have one shard, so 100 students information will go in one shard, and that shard has something called as primary shard. So the data is distributed into shards, and primary shard is something like is used for your read and write operations, and replica shards are used for your only read operation. So because we have one node, we can just have 0 replicas, because data must be distributed across nodes. But in case we have one node, so we can have only one primary shard. So total number of shard in this case will come to total one shard, which is the primary shard. And here is a valid syntax for how to create a single index with one shard and 0 replicas. This is for most of the time it's used for development machines, a single node cluster, and this is how I have represented. So P1 is like, so naming convention that I've given is P, which is primary 1, shard 1. So this is how you can read this information. Okay, now moving on. So let's say I go from one shard to 2 shard. So now I have 2 shards, two nodes, I mean to say 2 nodes. So now because I have 2 machines, so left and right I have 2 machines, so I can ideally have 2 primary shards for every index, because I can distribute the data into 2 different machines. So 100 students, 50 students will go in on node 1, on shard 1, and next 100 students information will go on node 2, the shard 2. So I have 2 primary shard. I am calling that as P1 and P2. Now how many replica shards I can have? Ideally I can have more also, but ideally I can have 2 minus 1. So just say 2 and minus 1. I can have 1 replica shard for both the primary shard. So it's like P1 R1. So primary shard 1, replica 1, primary shard 2, replica 1, because I can have only 1 replica for both the shards. And here is the formula to know how many shards I will have. So the total shards, so formula is something like primary shards into, then you add 1 plus R replica shard, which is 1 in this case. So 2 into 2, 4. So I have got 2. So these are this is my node 1, and I have got primary shard, and that primary shard has a replica on the node 2. Same way the primary shard 2 has its own replica on the node 1, and this is a valid syntax for creating a 2 shard 1 replica index. So yeah, moving on. So let's say we are going to like a typical production environment. Usually we advise 3 nodes. So just continuing with the same settings. So we have got like 3 nodes. So we can ideally can have 3 primary shards for every index, and 3 shards means 3 primary shards, P1, P2, P3. And because 3 minus 1, so we can ideally have 2 replica shard. We can create more also, but this is the ideal setting. So 2 replica shard, and total number of shards will be same going by that formula, P into 1 plus R, so that will be 9. So this is how the data distribution looks like. So let's say P1 is my primary shard, and that particular primary shard I have got a replica on node 2 and a second replica on node 3. Same way with the P2, which is the primary shard 2, I have got replica on node 1 and I have got a replica on node 3. So these are my all my shards. So primary, 3 primary and 2 replicas each on different node, not on the same node, because Elasticsearch won't allow. So the way we look at it is, let's say our this node has gone down, the server has gone down, this is not operational, for example. Still these two nodes will be the cluster will still be operational, because we both have P1 and P2, but P3, right, P3, this is, since it's a replica and the server is down, third server node 3 is down, so P3 will be made as primary and this will become replica of P3. So this will become like a primary shard for the third shard. So you can just think it like this, right? Okay, so I hope you get this point. So let's go to the last, just to make it 100% clear. So let's say quickly I'll run through it. So it's like 5 node, so I can ideally have 5 primary shards for every index. So these are my primary shards, and 5 minus 1 4, so ideally 4 replica shard. You can create more also, but it will be on the same machine, so if the machine goes down, there isn't much of a point. So total shards will be 25. So this one you just so now these 3 which we have already seen, and now for the shard 4 and 5 I have a replica on this machine, same way like this, So yeah, so that's all I have got for you today to talk about what are nodes, shards and replicas. Yep, bye.